Welcome to my show. My name is Joel Bennett, and this is called One Step. No, exciting moment because guess what, guys? I have my first author on the show and also a new member of the One Step family. Her name is called Erica Burnett, and the name of her upcoming book is An Immigrant's Odyssey to Canada, Steps and Strategies to Help You Plan Ahead. Now, I'm sure you guys want to hear from Erica and who she is. So, I'm going to pass the mic over to her. I want to tell my audience who Erica Burnett is.
For sure. Thank you so much, Joel, for having me on the show. It is indeed my pleasure to be here.
You're welcome.
So, Erica Burnett is from Jamaica. I am a believer that Jesus Christ is Lord. I am a business coach in the financial industry where I train, coach people of different ethnical backgrounds how they can be successful entrepreneurs through discipline, through dedication, and persistence, and also with God's help.
I see.
Yes.
You know, the first thing that came to my mind when I looked at the title of your book, Odyssey, it brought me back to that movie that was made in 1997. It was filled with adventure. I mean, the story was based on mostly Greek mythology, but the persona of the hero in that movie, bravery, courage, honesty, honor, it makes me want to ask, was the title of the book, was that movie influenced by that title in some form or shape? Because Odyssey speaks to adventure, it speaks to the journey. So tell us about that.
I've never heard about that movie. I've never watched it before.
I'm disappointed.
But what I can tell you
Yeah.
is that as the word Odyssey it is just a suitable word
Yes.
that would describe myself and my family's journey to Canada. And so I believe it is so fitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to put my ideas to this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, because first of all, we need to let our audience know that the book is still hot on the press. Right now, we have the bio, we have the author. I think it is more fun having the author to talk to. I'm sure that the book is great, will be great when
Yep.
it's published and so forth, but we get first-hand experience from the person who put pen to paper. So let me just read a section of the bio here. Again, the book is titled An Immigrant's Odyssey to Canada, Steps and Strategies to Help Us Plan Ahead. The book is going to take us on a journey of transition from the author's home country, Jamaica, to unknown territories of Canada, where she and her family had embraced new discoveries that reshape their lives. Now, Erica, I want you to walk us through the beginning of that journey from Jamaica to Canada. I mean, I'm going to ask you the territories that you guys have been to, but how did the idea came about? How did it all started? And I don't want you to tell me what age you came here. You can leave that out, right? But whose idea was it to take this adventure?
Okay, so this journey began 8 years ago, and it was a decision made by my husband and myself after visiting Canada for the first time in 2007.
Yeah.
Yes, we came, we liked what we saw, and we decided, you know what, this would be a good change for our family.
Which province did you guys landed into first?
Ontario.
Ontario. Okay.
Yes. When we visited.
Okay.
Yes. And there was an attempt to come, but that didn't work out.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you would understand the word Odyssey, being a part of the title of the book.
Yes.
Yes. So we visited Ontario for the first time, and when we thought about migrating, we went to or came to Alberta, since this is where I'm now living.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's take a backtrack a bit here. The idea to write the book. How did that came about?
The idea came about because I've met so many people that are on this journey that are not aware of some of the things that they should be looking out for, that are not prepared for the journey in no way, shape, or form. When I say that, I mean being prepared financially, emotionally, mentally, you know. And so I thought that this would help those that are thinking of migrating and those that are already on the journey. And apart from those who want to migrate, we're thinking about a lot of Canadians. They're intrigued by just the idea of us being here. Why did you leave warm Jamaica to come to cold Canada?
I heard that so many times.
Yes.
But I understand.
And so this will help them also to understand why we do make that transition.
Okay. So someone out there listening is going to say, I wonder what she's talking about. Okay, first of all, pros and cons of migration. Could you share with us what are some of the pros and cons? I mean, the good part of coming to Canada. I mean, I know that you're going to say, Joel, you know the weather. Okay, yes, I know the weather. But if we should go into the psychology, because I'll tell you why I asked this, right? My first 6 months of coming to Canada was probably the hardest. So much so that I was planning to go back to my country of birth. Because one, I had what they would call culture shock. But I think the con for me was that I came here alone. I mean, there were other members of the group, but for the most part, it wasn't anyone that I was close to. So of course, there was a emotional and psychological challenge or disconnect from meaning getting adjusted to the life and just everything on a whole. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to take 6 months. I'm going to work back my money, the money I paid to come here. And then I'm going to go back home because maybe this was a mistake after all. Don't laugh at me, but I mean, I won't judge you if you do. But 6 months passed and I still didn't make back even 50% of what I paid to come here. Because one of the things some of the things that persons don't think about is that when you come here, you'll have to figure out how you're going to live. I mean, how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to eat, where you're going to live. And all those things cost. And just like how you're living in your home country, trying to survive with inflation and everything else, and that come with cost of living, it's the same thing here.
It is.
So if you don't get the financial knowledge from someone, well, you're going to find yourself in a spot. So in your book, did you touch on that topic in any form or shape? I mean, after those psychological parts of adjusting?
Yes, I did. And what I would say is let's look at the pros first.
Please do.
So one important thing is to have support, right? And that would mean through family, through friends that are already here. That support doesn't necessarily mean that you will be living with them or even close to them. Of course, it's always better to be living close to them, to have that physical help close by, right? So support is extremely important to help you to go through the frigid winters. Also, just moving about,
Yeah.
from one point to another. When we talk about sometimes you're traveling from point A to B, point A to get there by bus, sometimes it will take around about 2 hours.
Yeah.
If you're going by car, if you're driving yourself or getting a ride to go to that place, it may take you 20-30 minutes.
Oh yeah, I know that much.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when we also talk about being financially prepared, it's extremely important, as you mentioned, that you'll be living just the same way as you were living in your home country. And so you need to be financially prepared to pay your bills, sometimes it takes a little while for you to get a job, to be able to just overall manage your daily living expenses, your rent, what to purchase, groceries, to purchase clothes, winter jackets. You're talking about a country that has 4 seasons.
Changes like the weather.
Yes. Right. So you have to be financially prepared in order to do that.
Yeah.
And what I find is that some people, when they're migrating, they think, well, I'm coming to a land of milk and honey, and I don't have to carry all this money because I can just make it over there. Not necessarily so.
At all.
Not necessarily so. Right? And being psychologically prepared when we talk about the weather, understanding, knowing that the seasons are going to change, you have to be prepared for that. When you're in, say, right now we're in summer and we're going into fall, it is already getting cool.
Summer has been brutally hot by now.
Yes, right? Your mindset may not be in that place that, yes, I want to go into fall. Right now, a lot of people are saying, no, fall is coming too soon.
Yes.
Right? Then you talk about winter. It gets cool in the fall, then winter now, when that brutal cold's come in.
-30.
-30. Now, being an island girl, a lot of people from the island or different countries that does not experience this type of cold. It is something new and something that will send people in depression if you're not prepared mentally for this.
And if you're alone.
Especially if you're alone.
Can I emphasize alone one more?
Oh yes, alone is a big thing. I've literally seen some of my friends, my schoolmates who went into depression during winter.
I believe you.
Yeah, went right into depression, And so even if you don't have family, it's important for you to get involved with some form of community. Be it church, be it just anywhere, anything, but be around people, have community, because it's not always possible to have family wherever you're gonna live.
Did you come with family? You did mention that, right?
Yes, I did. I came with my husband and my 2 children.
You survived half the battle.
Yes, and I can tell you, Joel, even sometimes the winter was sort of hard.
Yes.
Not mostly it was not, right? But the hard part of me was seeing it get dark from 4:00.
Oh my gosh. And we're hitting that time now.
Yes.
Because September is fall season, and then after that it's, I don't want to say downhill, but it all depends. Perception.
Yeah. So it's about thinking about those things, transitioning through those things, being strong during those periods, knowing that the seasons do change, and just looking forward to just having a good life. Just give yourself that self-talk to say, however it looks right now, it's gonna be good.
I mean, you mentioned something, and I feel like I want to emphasize it. If you come alone, and I mean, even if you come with your family, a church environment is a good way to find community first, because I feel like there are like-minded people there, and then it kind of gives you an edge from all the trials that will eventually come as well. Now, let's pivot here, Erica. We want to get into your book. What is the first chapter based on? Because, like I said, we don't have the book, but we have the creator here of that book. That is
Right.
What is the first chapter on? Give us a taste of what is to come.
For sure. The first chapter talks about our first attempt to come to Canada.
Okay.
How I practically came temporarily.
Yes.
But somehow thought it would be permanent. But that didn't work out, and I had to return to Jamaica.
Okay.
You know, feeling at that time that the dreams that we had in mind, that they were all shattered because it did not work out that first time.
Okay. If you're comfortable, gosh, I'm gonna be picking on you. I'm sorry. Why didn't it work out? I mean, do you want to tell the audience what that challenge was? Maybe a little idea, because the thing is, I have a friend. She was my second guest on the show. She is an immigration consultant, and actually, she got into that field because of maybe a similar experience. Because just like you, there were some document issues, and she was ripped from her family by the law and sent back home. And I said in our discussion, I said that experience caused her to put on her cape. Imagine her putting on a cape.
Right.
I'm gonna fight all those challenges
Yes.
for people who will have or go through a similar ordeal. Like that, because she was married at the time, and she had to leave her husband here for some time and go back home for I hope I'm getting this wrong, but quite a few years, maybe 2 years or so, before she could come back to Canada. I hope I got that right. Yannick, forgive me if I have it wrong. And she came back, and that gave her purpose, because it's the same thing we talked about, that sometimes challenges are a part of the process. And I mean, yes, it might be something that cause hurt, harm, disappointment, but we have this false idea that success, purpose, faith, that it should be a straight road. And that's just not the way life works. So I'm sensing a similar situation for you that inspired you to write this book. So I guess I was kind of poking at you to find out if you wanted to share what that ordeal was.
For sure. I'll share briefly, because all of that is in the book. It explains everything. So what I'll say in short is that it is mainly because immigration laws changed at that time.
Oh, I see.
Right. So the timing was not right.
Yeah.
But somehow I believe that it was I came at a time where the Lord wanted me to come, right? To just see what's happening here, to sort of whet my appetite, right?
There you go.
And so because the laws changed, I had to return to Jamaica, right? I thought it ended right there, that Canada is out of our thoughts, out of our dream to ever migrate.
Yes.
But then things turned.
Yeah.
And we got the opportunity to come back to Canada and to establish ourselves here, and to get our permanent residence.
Yes.
And to live the Canadian dream, if you want to put it that way.
The Canadian dream. I mean, honestly, Canada is a beautiful place.
Beautiful.
I feel like my life has changed because I made that decision.
Yes.
And like I said, the funny thing is, for the first 6 months after I came here, I thought, you know what? Maybe I was not meant to be here. But I'm going to put a twist on some thought process in relation to that. When things happen, when we make decisions, I feel like the root of every act, every choice that we make is somewhat fated. I remember the first time we talked on the phone. You remember what I said to you? I said to Erica, we were fated to meet. This moment was designed for us.
Yes.
And just the conversation alone, I believe in these things, I believe that when things happen, it happens for a reason.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes we just need to go through that mill, if it feels like a mill, and see what the end goal is. And so I want to say that this book is purposed by God. So touching on that point, because you place a lot of emphasis on you being led by God, your Christian walk, your faith, and so forth. How does your faith tie into this particular script that you have penned? How would you say that? How does God come into this book? Just put it that way.
Joel, oh my gosh.
I want you to talk to us, man. Talk to us, because there's I'm just giving you a break by saying this. This venture, this journey that I am on, I've said it to my friends, and I've said it repeatedly. I believe that this is a purpose that was given to me by God. I want to leave the world a little bit different with my contribution in whatever way I can with this journey that God has placed me on. So hence the reason why I know that some way, somehow, God is involved in this thing.
Yes.
And we want to know. Sorry, it's all forceful.
That's fine. I love it.
Yeah.
The entire journey
Yes.
was just led and directed by God. I can describe it as a faith journey.
Yes.
First of all, actually venturing into the unknown, right? Not knowing how things are going to work out.
Yeah.
That is to begin with. And being on the journey, still not certain of how things are going to work out.
Yes.
Leaving everything that you know behind.
Yes.
At one point I was like, oh my God, did we make the right decision to do this? Are things gonna work out?
Yes.
But then what I can tell you, Joel, is that on this journey, my faith has increased significantly. Because when you're in the unknown and you don't know what is going to happen, you have no choice but to just trust God. You have two options. Is either you're going to trust God, or you're just going to depend on just being negative and say, you know what, things may not work out, and put your energy in that direction. My family chose to put our energy in the direction that we're going to trust God, we're going to believe God. And I can tell you, during this time, it's the closest we have ever been to God, because we had to lean on Him so much for directions and even connections, to connect us to the right people that will help to take us to the next level, to the next part of our journey.
Yes.
Yes.
The reason why I am kind of spending a little time on this idea is I want my audience to know that I love the church. I believe that we all should find a church and settle in and grow our family there. But God has other purpose for us outside of the church.
Yes.
There is a mission that we're all gonna be given if we identify ourselves as servants of God.
Yes.
And sometimes you may not find that mission in the church, like participating in the church, being a member of the various departments and so forth. Some of us God wants us to do other things
Yep.
that will reach out to other people.
Yes.
And in the long term, direct them to the house of God.
That's right.
And I just want to see that we can't limit God's potential
Cannot.
to just the church.
No.
And I know, Erica, honestly, sometimes when I speak this way,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I offend people
Mhm.
sometimes, but I know what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. We have to hold firm to our individual faith, our
Mm-hmm.
missions
Yes.
that we will be given through the
Mhm.
course of our life. And
Mhm.
I'm just saying, I know the church is where everything starts,
Mhm.
but God is vast and wide,
Mhm.
and his purposes can come from other places
Yep.
too.
Yes.
So I feel like that's kind of the reason why I kind of touch on that topic a bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is there anything else, Erica, about your upcoming book that you believe is very significant? And I know that you don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, we want to entice people to, look out for this coming book because it's going to worth whatever the cost is.
That's right.
By the way, I know that the Kindle edition is coming out in September, meaning the audio edition is that it?
Yes. So right now it's ready for pre-ordering. So
Yeah.
it's available on Amazon,
Yes.
and you can get you
I'll
can
be-
order your Kindle right now, and
Yes.
it will be delivered to your account on the 7th of September.
So officially, when does the book, the hardcover book itself, come?
It should be ready for the 7th of
It should be the
September
7th
too.
also. Okay.
Yes,
All right. Just wanted to get that part out.
for sure.
So going back to my previous question,
Mm-hmm.
the book itself, what stands out the most that you want to tease us with,
Mm-hmm.
to look for? I'm sure that there's stuff there you want to give us a little sneak peek.
Oh, yes. So there are so many takeaways, to be honest with you,
Yes.
Joel. And I would say from beginning to the end,
Okay.
because even how we arrived in Canada, or let me say how I arrived in Canada in the beginning, on that first attempt.
Yes.
Some of the things that people should look out for when they hear, come to Canada.
Yes.
Canada wants people.
Yes.
Some of the things that they can look out for.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Whilst in Canada, things that you're still to
Yes.
look out for,
Yes.
ways you can plan,
Okay.
strategically plan
Can you give us
to be successful.
Tell us some of the strategies, though, man.
Joel, I can't.
Oh my
I
God.
can't tell you everything.
Okay.
If
She's selling the book already, but guess what? She don't want to come here and tell you everything that's in the book. No, you don't want to go buy it, to go read it, and go on yourself discover. Good marketing strategy.
Yes.
Good marketing.
Everything is in that book that you will need
Yes.
to succeed when you come to Canada.
Okay.
Right? With God's help. Because
Okay.
we can't do anything with God's help, right?
I like it.
Yes. So everything is in that book.
Yes.
To help you to be successful.
Yes.
So if you weren't, say, a person who believed in God or trust God,
yes,
you will find my personal experiences there that will be like, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely have to order it. Okay. All right. Fine. Fair enough. Fair enough. So where does Erica go from here after this first publishing? What comes next?
Okay, so what I'll say is that I will continue to do what I currently do. I love what I do.
Yes.
Being a business coach in the financial industry, also an entrepreneur, to train, to develop others, to basically generate wealth, and also to show other families how to generate wealth.
Okay.
To learn to grow money to protect their families from any unforeseen circumstances. So expanding my business is a big thing for me. And also to help a lot of people from all over the world through this book.
Okay.
Just to give people the hope that it may not be, migration, but any dream that you have, that it is possible for that dream to be fulfilled.
I like it.
Right? And sometimes when we find ourselves with desires, we didn't come up with those desires, those desires were planted in us for a reason.
Very much so.
And when we go through things, it is not just for us, but it's to help others.
Yes.
And through this book, I definitely want to, help people, to overall just change their mindset, the way they think, the way they approach things.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So for those who want to follow you, Erica,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get other gems as time goes by, where can we find you?
Okay.
Do you have a business platform, website, so forth you want to share?
Okay, for sure. So on Facebook as Erica Burnett.
Yes.
I'm also on Instagram with the same name. And my website is being finalized, but it will be Odyssey to Canada.com, something to that effect.
Well, whenever
Yes.
that is finalized,
Then,
please throw me a text
for sure.
so I can add that to this content so that people can, get more info, because you don't want to give us so much.
Sure, will do.
So before you leave us,
Mm-hmm.
Erica, I just want to say I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
There is much more to learn from you, I believe, because I'm gonna be one of the early buyers of
Mm-hmm.
this book, and I'm gonna get into it, and I'm hoping that we'll get to do part 2
For
when we
sure.
actually get into the book.
Yes.
It is an absolute privilege. Do you want to leave an encouragement for my listeners before you go?
For sure. My encouragement to everyone, to anyone, is to put God first in all you do. Allow Him to lead you, allow Him to direct you. And those dreams that you have, go after those dreams. It's not just your idea that I want to do this. It is placed within you for a reason. And whatever you go through, don't be ashamed, don't be afraid to share your story, because it's going to help someone else.
Well said. The show is called One Step. I don't need to repeat what you just said, because that would have been the exact very same thing, Erica, that I would be leaving my audience with.
How?
My name is Joel Bennett. When I tell you that we are going to take a journey, I pray that I would have been given the support and given the tools, the instrument, the people to connect with, learn some things, improve our lives, because we are all data source. We are all taking similar journeys. You would be so surprised. Stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to follow Erica like I will, and wait for part 2 when we actually get in the book, I ask that you get a purchase and support Erica on our journey. We all need the support, guys. My name is Joel Bennett. You stay tuned. Take care, guys. Keep safe. Love you all, and bye.
So you have signed off?
It's still going, but we'll edit this
Oh.
so you can relax now.